Good morning, everybody. My name is Anne-Marie Hoftailing. I am the co-founder of Story Imprinting, a company that teaches great people and great companies the art and science of storytelling. And this is Hat Chats, where I wear a hat and talk about whatever I please. Today we're in my garden house, which means you might hear a little background traffic because I live sort of on a main street in a pretty urban area. So my apologies for that, but I just felt like being in the semi-great outdoors this morning, so please forgive me for that. Today I really want to talk about the stories that you've sort of collected over the pandemic about what you've learned about yourself. I think that so much focus is placed on everything that we're doing wrong or everything that's hard. And I kind of want to twist that around and really start looking at what muscles have you built, what has become stronger and better as a result of the pandemic. I think this is a really interesting way into storytelling, but it's also a way to memorialize your stories. I think we're in a time where it's exceptionally easy to focus on everything that's wrong, everything that's hard, everything that's challenging, everything that's in our way. And I want to really encourage you to try to focus on the things that you have been able to turn around, the muscles you've been able to build. So with that, I'll sort of dive in. Many of you know that I had a company for over 10 years on my own, coaching and training. I traveled all over the country, all over the world, in fact, and the pandemic hit in the midst of launching Story Imprinting with my fabulous business partner, Holly Amaya. We launched in January, and of course the pandemic hit at about March. Now, we were really uncertain about what this would mean to our business. My business was almost entirely focused on traveling. She had a PR background, so there was some travel, not quite as intense, but we still weren't sure. And what we sort of came together and decided is that we were scrappy and that we had a lot of grit and we were flexible and nimble and we could make it work. We decided that. We just made a decision about that. And we started doing things a little differently. Our focus shifted dramatically. We were building an online product, which we're still building, but we started really talking to people online. We became much more visible in social media. We started getting more clients through LinkedIn. People started just sort of paying attention to what we were writing and talking about, things we might have done anyway, but really we were placing a much more intense focus on. And what we also found is our relationship really strengthened. I think what we decided is we're going to do whatever it takes to make this work, and we're both exceptionally committed. We were always committed, but what the pandemic really taught us is that we really doubled down on that commitment. And what I think that you get to decide for yourself is there are parts of yourself that you have met that maybe you didn't know about. Maybe you are more resilient than you had imagined. Maybe this has allowed you more time with people you care deeply about. I am in no way diminishing the ways in which this has been incredibly hard, and it has. For those of you who don't know, this has been a wildly difficult 18 months for me. I've lost 3 people in my family, including my mother, which was incredibly hard. So I'm not speaking from a place where life is gloriously easy for me. It isn't at all. It's been a wild, intense struggle. And what has pulled me through that struggle is being hyper-focused on what I'm good at and what's come out of this. So to that end, I would say look at your business and look at how people have come together. Look at how teams have worked harder in consort to support one another. Look at people who had this exceptional positive attitude when everybody else was only seeing what was dark. Look at the ways in which you have been nimble. Look at the ways in which you have served or helped someone along the path. That is what's going to be what defines you. All of the other stuff isn't useful, and get rid of it. Start focusing on those stories. Those are the stories, by the way, you're going to be telling in presentations about your company, in consultations about your company, when you're writing, when you're talking about your team, your leadership. What will define your story is not that things were so terrible, they were really hard, they were terrible and terrible and terrible. It's they were really hard, and this is what we learned about ourselves. And we made a decision to be more flexible, to be more thoughtful. That's what will define you. This is true in your personal life, it's true in your business, and I just invite you to rethink the story you're going to tell about this period of your business and your life. So with that, I'm going to close out. If you could, we would love for you to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And if you have any questions or things you'd like me to talk about in these hat chests, please comment below and I will do my very best to address them in the next video. Thanks for watching.